What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today I have Jake Stanislawski, a man who has done over $20 million in sales on Amazon across a bunch of different products. He's going to get into that. He's going to tell us his story, how he does it. But as usual, we like to play a little game here. And since we're talking about Amazon, we are going to put Jeff Bezos outfits on a tier list.
Excited to judge him. Absolutely.
Excited to judge me some Jeff. All right. So we're going to start off with a Jeff outfit. It's kind of, I would call this one classic Jeff, right? Sort of keynote Jeff, if you will. We got black leather jacket, black, I don't know, Henley t-shirt, or maybe just a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Blue jeans, belt, kind of a classic with the mic on the ear.
Right.
How you feeling? We're doing a tier list here. So how you feeling about this one?
It seems like he's trying to dress younger than his real age, but I think overall he pulls it off well.
Yeah.
He matches. I'm assuming he has a stylist, someone who does this for him.
I would hope.
There's no way he can come from old Bezos to this Bezos and not have a stylist. You don't just naturally get styled.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's if you're dressing yourself as that might be in his phase where he's the richest man in the world. If you're dressing yourself as the richest man in the world, then you're doing something wrong.
Right. Exactly. Then you're not the richest man in the world.
Yeah. So, all right, where do you put this one? A tier. To me, this is a solid. The reason I started with this one is it's kind of like a solid sort of B tier, kind of right in the middle. You know what I mean? It's not incredible, but it's, it's A tier, B tier.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how you can go with anything but middle of the, like, that's just middle of the road.
Yeah. No, I feel like we gotta have some better ones on the horizon.
Yeah. Can we adjust later? Can we move?
This? Yeah. We can revisit. So let's put this right in the middle. Establish this as the B tier outfit.
Sure.
And that that's kind of where we'll start. So we got 6 that we're gonna try and get through. But so tell me your story. Let's start here. Let's start at your childhood. You want to do a little therapy? Tell me about your parents. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your traumas.
I wish I had great stories about childhood, like that were entertaining, but they're not. I had a very basic childhood growing up just outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But the one neat thing was my parents have always done craft fairs and things. So my whole life, they own their own business doing craft fairs. So my whole childhood was traveling all across the Midwest, mainly Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, but lots of Iowa, out to Denver doing things and just doing craft shows. So I would sleep in boxes, I guess, underneath as a kid. And,
it sounds like maybe your parents might've just been homeless.
Right. You know what? I think we're
no, we're doing craft shows. We sleep in the box.
Just stay there and don't make a sound.
Yeah.
But it was neat being able to do that and travel a bunch and really kind of see the Midwest and kind of learn people a little better at a young age. I'm an only child, so I kind of got the short end of the straw with that, where my only friend was, a Nerf football.
Right.
That, actually my parents bought me a Nerf football back in the day that it was flat on one end, so you could throw it against the wall and it would bounce back at you.
Yeah.
That's how lonely I was. That was all I had. I
was also an only child. And I remember one Christmas, my parents got me a ping pong table, which just seemed like a cruel joke. What am I supposed to do with this?
Right. Could you at least stand up?
Yeah, I put up one side of it and I play against the wall. I'm like, that's sad, honestly. I got really good. I got really good doing that. You get really good with the flat side Nerf football. I remember that same Nerf football. I had the same one.
I did find my wife.
Hey, you just throw a ball against the wall. You're doing that anyway. But throw this one.
Right, exactly. No, my wife, we found a picture of it a few months back, and my wife thought it was the funniest thing. Yeah. It was that is really sad, Jake. That is.
You didn't know at the time it was sad. You're like, I don't think it was sad.
I have
hours of entertainment.
Yeah, I remember being at one of the warehouses that we had back in the day, throwing it against the cement wall outside, and that same day, my parents just drove away. And I was like, oh, they must be going to the gas station or something like that. And they didn't come back for 20 minutes. They thought I was in the car. So I was 10 years old, just standing in an industrial park by myself.
So far, what you tell me about your parents, when you just said they didn't come back for 20 minutes, I thought you were going to say 20 years. They didn't come back for 20 years. I lived there after that.
Joe Dirt style, man.
Okay. So, what kind of stuff did they sell?
So they started out with all kinds of stuff like floral patterns on driftwood, and then making little tables and whatnot. And then that kind of transformed into picture frames, and then that's kind of the business that stuck, and
Okay.
now that I am a part of now, and help run. So, but still, like, it was craft shows up until 7 8 years ago, and it was kind of just like, I was working for a local newspaper in the digital advertising department, and I'm like, gosh, you guys, do you sell anything online? They're like, no, no, not really. And I was like, I'll just do it on the side. Like, give me a commission cut. And
Mhm.
suddenly it's like, oh, I made 10 grand this year, just selling stuff for them on the side. Oh, I made
Yeah.
30 grand. Oh, I made 70 grand. Oh, like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to quit my job and do this. And then I made the big mistake of going off a commission and just joining them and
Yeah.
making way less money just because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
have a
So
salary
you
instead.
joined their business,
Right.
like running all their Amazon and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It took
Um,
time to build up, but yeah.
but basically, so I mean, I think you've kind of got a little bit of an entrepreneurial gene with your Amazon agency
Yeah.
and stuff like that. A lot of times, there's signs of the hustle when kids are kids. It's one of two things. Either there were signs of the hustle early on, like they're that kid who was flipping sneakers or buying
Sure.
dollar store candy and selling it for $2 at school or something like that, or they were like mega hyper focused on a thing like a sport or theater or music or
Sure.
something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I had nothing in my life other than this like one thing. Or they were like gamers, that's like that. It's almost
Yeah.
like one of those three things every
Yeah.
time when you meet entrepreneurs.
It is true. I never thought about that because I played soccer back in the day. You wouldn't know it now looking at me, but like I used to do that, and it's like that was it. That was my life
Yeah.
for a long time. And then
You
I got married.
travel, you do. It's like, I'm going to play in college. I'm going to play soccer forever.
Right.
This is my
It
plan.
was it was a ton of fun, but then it's like my parents also were like, "You're not going to work for us right away.
Yeah.
You will go and get a job. You will learn what it's like to be in the real world." And I really appreciate that, and I feel like I'm going to do the same to my kids because I think it taught me a lot about what I hate, which is working for someone else in a lot of cases. And I feel like it makes you a better manager and better with your employees when you understand what really you don't like about the real world or secular jobs.
Yeah. Uh, all right, let's do another Bezos outfit.
Do
So
it.
next up, we got. Let's see, which one do we want to go with here? Let's go a different direction here. All right. So we had the kind of the classic Bezos, uh,
Mhm.
the keynote Bezos, we'll call him. Now we got what I'll call tactical Jeff. So this is tactical Jeff. We got him in uh like black aviators, a black polo, black vest. There seems to be a name tag on it, so maybe he's at a conference or something,
Right.
and maybe black jeans. Like it's all like, and also the one thing I will call out about this for the audio listeners is Tactical Bezos is looking yoked.
He looks buff. He looks like a dad I don't want to mess with. Like,
For
I'm
real.
dating his daughter and I'm just like, I'm good. We're not gonna continue this
That's
relationship.
exactly it. He looks like that dad that you meet and you're like, he's like, yeah, I work on the internet, and you're like, oh, so that's your cover, and you're actually like a FBI
CIA.
agent. Yeah,
Right.
CIA.
Yeah.
Uh, you work on the internet. Yeah, right. No, like he is looking. So I guess, do we give him credit on the outfit for what kind of shape he's in?
I think so, right? Like, I think your body like is part of your outfit, right?
Okay,
Like,
okay,
you can't dress like that if no offense to anyone who is a
that's
little
true.
heavier, but it's like if you got some pounds on you, you dress like that, you're just gonna look like you're trying too hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, your body is part of your outfit. I
Yeah,
like it.
absolutely.
Where do you put this one? Okay, so here's the tier list. I'll pull the tier list back up. Um, but where you feeling for this one so far? Like, you
Like,
feeling above Keynote Bezos? You like this one better than Keynote Bezos?
I think we should clarify. Are we ranking how attractive I find him in each of these, or just the outfit?
I
Because
mean, I think
there's,
that we've been unclear on the criteria on purpose.
I like this one.
So I
I like
definitely find him very attractive in this one.
right. Agreed.
I've got a little bit of a man crush on him in this one.
I
Outfit wise,
It's
yeah, all right,
simple,
let's do
but it
that.
works.
Let's make that part of the criteria. How you
Yeah.
feeling? You feeling this A tier for this one?
I mean, I really like this. I feel like it's A tier, but I feel too like we're gonna pull up another picture pretty soon and be like, that has to win.
Okay. All
So,
right.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like right now, I feel it has to go A.
Well, more than one can be on a tier. So if it's S tier,
Oh,
another one can be on S tier. You want to throw
oh.
it on S tier?
I mean, I'm crushing, like you said.
Okay.
I'm
Let,
smitten.
let me put it this way. Yeah, somebody told me once, like, I'm like, how do you know if a man is attractive? And they're like, look at him. Would you want to wake up tomorrow looking like that? That's how
No,
you know a man is attractive.
never
And
thought
when
about
I look at that picture of Jeff Bezos, tactical Jeff, I'm like, I would love to wake up tomorrow and look like that, actually,
it.
even
Right,
without the hair,
right.
or wake up. He's probably 60. Like, how old is he in that picture? He's
I
probably
think
old. If I
he's
wake up at that age looking like that, I will be very happy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would be thrilled. He definitely is like a glow up kind of guy. He definitely
He's
got.
gotten better with age, big
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Um, all right. So
Now that
your
we're done
childhood, you're
bankrupting
basically
over
homeless. You
like
could be
homeless,
homeless. We can't really
right,
tell.
right.
Homeless soccer player.
I'm not
Uh,
clear either on it. Yep,
unclear. Slinging stuff at craft fairs.
yep.
Traveling around the Midwest. You have a surprising lack of a Midwest accent,
No,
which
I appreciate
is
it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just turning it off right now. Maybe you got to get around. Maybe you get a few beers in you, and that's how.
Well, it's the bag,
Yeah,
when you draw out the A's and stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
No,
got
I heard it's really hot over there today. It's like
oh,
in
it's
the
great.
70s.
Yeah, yeah, it's real warm.
Yeah.
But I did this thing with my 5-year-old, and just to mess with him, I'd always call bagels bagels. I'd just be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, let get that bagel." That's all I say now. I don't know how to say bagel properly anymore because
My
I messed with him so long that that's all it is now.
my family's from Iowa. My dad's side of the family's from Iowa. My mom's side is from North Dakota, and they have the worst accents in
Oh yeah,
North Dakota of anywhere, worse
yeah.
than Wisconsin. And there are certain words that, as I approach them, I get nervous. Like, you're in the Midwest, so you don't have to. But like, there
Right.
are certain words, specifically the word bagel, that when as I approach it, I like try and avoid it. I'm like, can I not say this word,
Yeah.
especially if I'm around my wife, because I know she's gonna tease me. Uh, that's just that's my life. My parents' accents went away when they moved, but there's certain words that I just learned to say
Right.
the wrong way, and now I
It's
don't know how you're supposed to say them.
I know, and now I'm here, and you probably do the same thing with your kids. It's like I'm ruining them for their future.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
saying words the wrong way, and they're going to have a complex when they're older just because dad didn't know how to speak properly.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
or mess with them
Uh,
too
settle this one for me, because I said this one as a joke one time, and now my wife will not believe that I
much.
can say it correctly. How do you say the word ladle?
Ladle,
Yes, thank you.
ladle.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
said ladle. I said it ladle once as a joke, and now she does not believe that I know how to say the word ladle.
the trust
Uh,
factor is broken.
yeah. So okay. So tell me about your business. Like, or tell me kind of about like the bridge there, right? So
Yeah,
childhood, semi-homeless, playing
yep,
soccer.
that's right.
You kind of like leave, go to college, or did you just go into the workforce, or how'd that go?
I went right into the workforce from high school. I said I was going to take a year to decide what I really wanted to do, and I sold UV lighting systems for HVAC systems.
Hmm.
So basically, like anything with moving air. I was 18, didn't know what I was doing, and my best friend's dad owned this company, and he's like, "You come work for me." He's like, "I'll give you 18,000 a year," and I was like, "Are you kidding me?
What?
That is insane."
$1,500 a month? What am I going to do with all that money?
I swear, I sat in that office, and I still to this day don't know what I was selling. And I after 1 year, I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I am wasting you so much money. I'm sitting here like just twiddling my thumbs. I got no clue. I think I don't know if I sold one light bulb the whole time I worked there. But but I did that for a year, and then I was actually getting pretty serious with my wife, who
Mhm.
I'm married to now. And we ended up getting married. I was 21, she was 19,
Yeah.
and we're still together, going strong. And but from there, then I just went out into the workforce. I did digital advertising for a while. I worked actually at Sprint back in the day,
Uh-huh.
selling cell phones.
Right.
And you just pick up all the things, like all these different things that you do in life or work. It's You learn how to deal with people. You learn how to deal with nasty
Yeah.
people. You learn what that business was doing to, make sales or how they ran things. You learn how your manager treated you, and I had good managers and bad, and then you kind of use that to do your own thing. So
Yeah, and managing like high level people versus like minimum wage employee type people.
right,
One of the things that I've noticed, another thing, right? Like, so I look for like breadcrumbs of people who are entrepreneurial and successful, and one of them is in childhood. Almost always they were like heavily focused on a thing, or
yeah,
they had that like they had that gamesmanship already. They're flipping something, uh, uh, and then usually in like young adult years uh, a common one is that they worked some kind of sales job that most people see as pretty crappy and most people would just like rather not have a job than do.
sure.
So cell phones qualifies, anything door to door qualifies. For me,
Depends.
yeah, for me it was mall kiosks. I sold at a mall kiosk,
Oh
which is
man,
you're the unspeakables at the mall. Like
no,
nobody
yeah,
wants to look at you. They're like,
no,
don't make eye contact with them.
right.
You'll walk
They're
home with
trying to
something
sell
you
you
don't
something,
need.
right,
And that's like how you got to be. Like somebody makes eye contact with you, you're like, you're buying something now. I'm
right,
not going to let you go till you do. Uh, and because they're the only person who's going to look at you all day, and that's like a really hard job, and most people don't like you. Or sometimes people get involved in MLM or sell Cutco or
oh
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, Market
Um,
America and selling Tupperware and
yeah. And what I've noticed is a lot of the entrepreneurial people don't necessarily get involved in like MLMs where they're trying to recruit a downline as much as they'll do something like sell Cutco or sell Tupperware,
yeah,
where it's like you're not recruiting a downline, you're more like selling the product.
right,
But it's like the idea of meritocracy for your money, right? So
yeah,
the better I am at this, the more money I can make is attractive
right,
to a
yeah.
lot of people who end up being entrepreneurial and successful. Um, and then, yeah, that's interesting. I also got married very young. I think that was one of the best things I ever did for my career as well.
It's probably true. I mean, I think anyone, we could go in a whole different direction here if we want to talk about marriage and getting married young. But it's like, you grow together. I think for some people it's really hard. We waited
Yeah.
7 years before we had kids, and I'm really glad that we did that, just
Yeah.
because it gave us time to, get to know each other.
Yeah.
Um, and you really do grow together that way. And I think it was really, really good for us. It was not easy first
Yeah.
few years, especially she was an only child too, or is,
Oh
and
man.
so like we did not.
You got two
It
only children? How do you
was
guys communicate?
rough. We don't, man. Especially with kids,
When
we
one
don't
of you
spend time.
when one of you travels, you guys just don't talk until that person gets back, do you?
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what happens. You just don't know what to
We got
do.
for 5 days. We didn't even text once.
No, it's it's a very interesting dynamic that way, and everyone always made fun of us for it. But no, it wasn't easy. But it's true. It kind of like, this is the direction I want to go, babe, and this is what you want to do, and it's kind of like, all right, well, how do we balance this out? How do we do this? And
Yeah.
do we want to stay here? Do we want to move eventually? Do you want a job that is remote that you could do anywhere? And then all of a sudden it's like end up becoming owner of the family business. It's like, well, now we're stuck here for a while, but
Yeah.
it is
No,
what it is.
yeah, I think for me, if in the reason I say I think it was one of the best decisions I made, I have a wife that wanted to be a stay at home parent. And it's funny that we're talking about Jeff Bezos, right? Because he just went through that divorce, a
Right.
few years ago. His wife famously took a bunch of stuff, but it's like we were looking at it, it's like they were married for like almost 30 years. Amazon
Hmm.
wasn't even a thing when they started. Like she deserves some of it because
Right.
the fact that he's able to focus, like for me, I've just been able to focus a lot more
Right.
than I think a lot of the guys who I know who are trying to date, trying to do it. Like, it's a really hard. It's a distraction. You're going out a lot.
Yeah.
It's just. I'm not saying don't date or dating's like bad, but I think dating intentionally to try and get married when you're young. I've said this on the pod before. Even when you're young, date intentionally. Uh,
Sure.
Not just like dating around, but date intentionally. It
Right.
doesn't mean you have to get married, but like date intentionally is a big piece of advice that I give to like young entrepreneurs that
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it will take up a lot of your time, money, and headspace, trying to date three girls.
I never thought about that. I've just always taken for granted the fact that, yeah, I'm married.
Exactly.
Food's ready on the table sometimes. But, yeah,
Easy.
I
Jeez.
know, um, you won't watch
I mean, if she doesn't have a sandwich on the table, I mean, what are we
it.
doing?
Thank goodness she hates e-commerce. She'll never watch this podcast. But uh, no, it's like that's true. Like she takes care of the kids. I don't have to worry about that during the workday. I can go in and get my stuff done, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's really true. But it's been a blessing definitely for us and for me to have that. She's really helped out a ton, and I'm sure for Bezos, who knows? Maybe she, was giving him all these ideas. Like, you should really just do something, and he goes in the garage, or maybe she was irritating him. He's like, I'm just going in the garage, and he goes in the garage and starts a company.
Selling his old books. Yeah.
Right? He's like, I need to get away, so I'm just going to sell books.
Right. No, I mean, I think, if nothing else, it's like there's just there's a lot of logistics that go into like handling and managing a life.
Yeah.
And when someone else can do a lot of it and you can focus on the finance, like when my wife can be the COO of our household,
Hmm.
manage all the operations of our household, and I can just focus on like being the main sales,
Right.
if you will, or the CFO, the
Right.
main financial the main person bringing in finances. I think that is incredibly helpful if that's what my goals are, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's true.
um,
Your family is kind of like a mini business.
right,
I think especially for the entrepreneur, they kind of look at it that way. It's like, all right,
yeah,
you take care of this. I'm going to do this. So we delegate, and you know, it's
yeah,
kind of it can be fun.
yeah,
Also, but you can't fire anyone, so
yeah. No, you're
you're stuck.
but it's the same as a business partnership too. If you go into your partners with your parents, it's like we're in it. It's not always great, but we're in it.
Right? Exactly. No, it's true. It's true.
All right. So next up, we got another Bezos outfit here. I call this the fun coat Bezos. I don't know how to describe this. It's a black and white coat. This looks like a formal event, like it's a tuxedo, but it's
Yeah,
like a coat that's black and white. But I don't. Is there a name for that pattern?
I don't know. It like kind of reminds me of a cow, but like
Yeah,
that.
it's a little cowish. Here's what it looks like. It looks like if my 2-year-old tried to draw a cow on a coat.
Yes,
It's pretty much what it looks like.
and he has a popped collar, doesn't he?
And he has a
He's
pop
popped
collar
that
and
collar.
maybe a bow tie.
He might have a bow tie in there.
Yeah.
Can we
No,
judge
no
the
bow tie, no bow tie.
no bow tie? All right.
No, but it is a formal jacket. He's got it buttoned. It's got like the black strip to make it,
Like tucked
that the
into,
design is
like
what it's supposed to be. I don't love it. I'm not a huge fan of this one. This is my least
no,
favorite one yet.
I completely agree, but I will say he pulls it off in a weird way. I don't know if it's his bald head or
Let me,
what, or his light complexion,
yeah,
but like he pulls it off.
I'll say this about, it was hard to find an outfit he doesn't pull off, honestly.
He's got it. But I agree. Not my favorite.
Using our past criteria of would I want to wake up in the morning and look like that, the answer is no. I
Right.
wouldn't really. I mean, he still looks good, but
Right.
that's not what I would aspire to.
Right. But
So
does
for
he look
me,
does he look better because he's with someone from the Adams family in that
yeah.
picture? It just he's got, I don't know. Maybe it's
he's
just the
he's
angle.
he's super white. It's a very contrasting.
Right.
Yeah. Also, in pretty much all these pictures, all the rest of them, well, maybe three more of them. He's I couldn't separate him from the girl he's with. So,
All right.
all right. What are we feeling about that one? I definitely have it below Keynote
Yeah.
Bezos. I
Yeah.
might even have that one all the way down in D tier.
Yeah. I like the fact that he pulls it off, but
Okay.
it's not something I want to see him wear again. So
Let's
I mean,
give him
I think
C tier for pulling it off.
all right.
We can rearrange them. We can
Yeah,
rearrange them. But
yeah, I like that though. I
all
think it's
right.
good.
Uh, all right. So you kind of spent a few years working around doing digital kind of bouncing around jobs, Sprint, doing digital advertising. You join
Yeah.
your parents' business and you lead their online sales, specifically on marketplaces like Amazon and stuff like that. At
Yeah.
what point did you say, "Hey, this Amazon thing, I could do this for other people"?
So we created the Amazon store. I don't know how many years ago, 10. And it slowly grew. It took a while. I didn't really care. I was just the guy who's like, I'm gonna sign up for Amazon, right?
Mm.
And then you start putting products out there, and then you run into your first issue, and it's like, oh, this is such a pain in the ass. Like
What's
this
the first
is
issue usually?
well for me it was listings. Like you don't know. So things would happen with the description, or you try and list like five things at once and they all get errors. You get error codes on all of them. And then you read how to fix it. And it's like, all right, I had too many characters here. I had too many characters here. You fix it, you submit it again, and there's errors again that weren't there on the first time that you uploaded it. And now it's like, now you're looking at those errors and you're going like, how do I fix these? And it's like, you have a character in here that you're not allowed to use. And it's like, well,
Mhm.
what character is it? But it doesn't tell you. And so it's just this back and forth. And I mean, we still do that now, even with our agency. You have errors every time you make an upload, just about.
Yeah.
But after a while, you get used to which ones are going to happen and how to
Mhm.
fix them. It's just as quick now, and you know what's coming. But man, I had hired five different agencies. I'm pretty sure it was
Oh,
for
really? To help you with.
yeah,
So Amazon was taking off. Like Amazon was starting to take off.
yeah, oh yeah,
You did
we're
it for
doing
a few years. Amazon was starting to take off as a sales channel,
yep.
and now you're kind of like, all right, let me hire someone to throw fuel on this fire.
Exactly. Like I want to get more listings up, or I think they can be better, but I don't know what to do.
Were you even running ads on Amazon, or was it just all organic at this point?
I think I tried running ads.
Hmm.
I mean, back in the day, like ads were so easy to run. I mean, you
Yeah.
just like throw $10 at it, and you'd make $100 like instantly.
Right.
Maybe 1,000. Like it was so easy to advertise there. It seemed like on Facebook back in the day, you could really make money on it, and
Yeah.
now it's so crowded.
Yep.
It's so much more intricate on how you do it. And like I don't know what we're allowed to say on here or not, but it's like that is our slogan pretty much with our agency is Amazon is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
And
you're good.
we hate it. I probably hate it more than every one of our clients. I hate Amazon, but you have to be there and it works. I
Yeah.
mean, they bring you the customers. So, but no, I fired so many agencies and eventually, I was learning a lot in the process. I had one agency who the owner was an ex high up at Amazon and he
Okay.
created an agency. And I did like 4-hour training sessions with them like every other week.
Hmm.
Just so their agency was a little different where they didn't just go in and do it; they taught you how to do it. And so it's like I was learning a bunch of stuff, and then it's like, all right, move on from them, and I'm working on things myself. And it's like, all right, we gotta do this better, and then hire another one. It's like, God, you like you're doing everything I was taught to do. You're not doing what I was taught to do,
Yeah.
and things are going downhill. And it's like, fire them, get another one, fire them, and finally, I'm like, F it. Like this is
Pretty soon you just do the Thanos thing. You're like, I'll just do it myself.
right. Yeah. It's like, man, how much money that we probably wasted as a company, probably close to 100 grand just on these agencies. And we got really, yeah, there's a little help,
Yeah.
like things worked, but I was so frustrated. And then it kind of just worked out that another business associate of mine called me up one day and just like, hey, I got this idea. Just hear me out. And literally, he was just a rep of mine that I work with on buying product from.
Oh,
And
so
he,
he's like a vendor. He sells
yeah, he
you.
was just a vendor of ours
Yeah.
for a software that we had used. And he's like, I got this idea. He called me up personally on my cell phone. And so like suddenly we were chatting, and it's like we should start a business helping people with Etsy and Amazon. And I'm like, I'm in. I don't even need to talk about it. I've wanted to do this. I just needed, someone to help with. So that's kind of how it started
Yeah. Okay.
in a roundabout.
How'd you guys get your first client?
Poached them from from,
Okay.
from,
Well, I mean, tell
from yeah,
the story time, I guess.
yeah, from the business that he had or that he was working for at the time.
He was
We
working for an Amazon agency, or he just.
No, he was working for a software company that
Okay.
um, produced some digital renditions of products like dynamic color changing and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
so we just went through a few of the clients that he's been working with, and he still had the job, and we just reached out, politely, or I did through my email,
Right.
and just said, hey, this is what we do, and we ended up getting two clients right away from that, and that's what got us started. So suddenly
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we have enough money coming in now. I mean, it's quickly once you sign two clients for on 12-month contracts, suddenly it's like we've got revenue coming in now for
Yeah.
a while. Now we can take the time and get rolling. But yeah, the very first client was a fun one, and it was really an awkward conversation with my wife when my business partner comes up and he's like, all right, so hear me out. I have a client who wants to work with us, but what they sell is a little odd. And I'm like, all right, what is it? He's like, it's nipple covers. And I'm like,
What is
I'm
the
a
use
little,
case of
I
nipple
don't know if I
cover?
can do that. Like, can I, I don't know, like, are we allowed, is that really what we want our first client to be? And they ended up being like the best client we ever had.
Nipple cover. Tell me the use case of nipple covers.
Uh, just, they're pasties. So,
Okay,
uh,
so like
and,
for it was like for strippers.
well, I, they,
For a working girl, what do we call them? I don't know.
now you got me all flustered. It was more like, EDM raves,
Okay.
concert goers, a
Oh,
little more
all right, right. Yeah.
dance.
So like, your 20-year-old girl going to Coachella or whatever the more,
Yeah, and you got
whatever the more trendy music fest is,
right.
you
So you
know.
got stars, you got things with tassels, you got
Yeah.
like little like cows, like you need any
How,
shape, any
yeah.
design, like a
Jeff
steak.
Bezos faces,
Right.
probably.
But
I mean,
I oh man, I don't know who's going to watch this or not, but it's like I definitely for it was my wife's idea, but for one of her cousin's bachelorette party, we blew up her husband's face and gave her a whole pack of pasties with her husband's face on it.
yeah.
So it's like, you can
Yeah.
definitely do that
You
stuff,
get creative with it.
right? Oh yeah, you do. I mean, they have
Well, and that's
every
interesting because honestly, they would have a hard time advertising on most. So like I come more from the direct to consumer side. So these
right,
same brands that you work with selling on their own website, uh, the big two, 800-pound gorillas of advertising are Google and Meta, so Instagram and
right,
Facebook.
yeah,
That kind of company would have a hard time advertising on those platforms.
and they did.
And so yeah, so Amazon seems like the main best play for them, really.
But they were also not allowed to advertise that on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
So, like, as you know, our job was to help with their Amazon, and they were doing like $2,000 a month in sales. Like
Yeah.
they were not paying their bill for us, like where we were. What they made didn't cover our costs.
Yeah.
And it's like, so we really worked hard right away to figure out how do we position this differently so we can advertise it. And it was a huge learning curve. And they're super gracious and gave us a little bit of time to figure it out because it
Yeah.
was hard at first. Everything got denied. Storefronts got denied when we created it. A plus content gets denied. Everything. So we had to almost have like a brand meeting with them and be like, okay, in order to be successful on Amazon, you need to break away from your general audience,
Hmm.
right? We need to figure something else out. We can't have any silhouettes of this. We can't have any skin showing. We can't have this. We can't have
You just
that.
have to like get like melons or like fruits
Right.
or what do we do here?
Well, Amazon just it was like almost once this client was like flagged the first time, the flag just stayed.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating because you could go to a competitor's listing and they have everything like super inappropriate,
Yeah.
super risque, and they're advertising. And you're like so frustrated. And like he was pissed. He's like, why are they doing this to me? And blah, blah, blah. It's
You're
like,
like, dude, I don't know, man, but I can't do anything about it.
no, just send me more Dropbox
Yeah.
images and let's see what I can work with.
I'm going to see Jeff in Miami next week. Let me talk to him about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's easy stuff. No,
Okay. So, but you got to figure it out. Like, so what was the key to cracking that ultimately?
man, I don't even know if I know what the key was. It would be
It just
great
like
if I was like,
keep
this is what we
trying,
did.
keep posting new listings, keep,
Yeah, it was A/B testing. It was a lot of like recreating ads over and over again because you'd run an ad and it would do great for 2 weeks,
uh-huh.
and then everything got suspended.
Yeah.
And so it's like then you go back into list it again, but you can't because that listing now is suspended for advertising. So then we had to go back to the drawing board, make edits to the listing to kind of get it recrawled, and
Yeah.
then now try it again. And there was a lot of back and forth, but getting rid of specific keywords, which were really tough to do because some keywords we had to get rid of was what the product is.
Yeah.
And so you had to really like figure out ways to get creative with different
What is a
keywords.
synonym for nipple?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Milkers. I don't know if we
Uh,
can use that.
yeah.
No,
Boob
it, it,
buttons?
it was
Yeah.
it was it was tough, but we also found out that there were just some designs that weren't going to fly. And
Gotcha.
at some point, you have to understand like some things just aren't going to work. Some products you have, I mean, pretty much like on Amazon, you got to take a handful of crap and just throw it at the wall and see what sticks. And if search traffic isn't there, things aren't selling, don't worry about it. Move on to the other things that are selling and double down on those and get
Yeah.
those going. We can always come back to the other stuff later. And that's kind of what we did, and that really really worked out for them. But it took some time to get moving, but when you put the time in, it usually always
Yep.
works out in the end.
Yeah. All right. We got another Bezos fit here. I call this Vacation Bezos.
Mhm. Mhm.
Vacay Bezos. Vacay Jeff. We got
Oh,
he's got floral blue shorts, a button down blue shirt with
linen.
two buttons buttoned. You know, the middle two. Basically, he's got his belly button covered.
That is
He
very odd button
very
assortment.
yeah, but beverage in hand, chest very much showing.
Yeah,
He's
but
super
look at those
hairless.
pecs. You can see the outline of his pecs. He's
Yeah, I mean,
definitely working
again,
out.
he looks good. He looks
Yeah,
ripped.
yeah.
Uh,
Not
I
not a
don't
fit
love
like
the outfit as much as Tactical Jeff, but
yeah. There's octopi on his pants, on his swim trunk. I feel
yeah,
like that's
yeah, that's true. There are. I didn't notice
a
that.
little, a
Yeah,
little childish. I
yeah.
feel like
He's
he'd
got
be
he's got
better.
octopus swim trunks on.
Right. Yeah.
Um, it's
Not
interesting. You know,
Vader.
I'm not my first choice. I usually go with Power Rangers, but hey,
Right. Yeah. Some kind of superhero.
yeah.
Please. I mean,
How you feeling about this one? Let's look at our references right now and see what we let's see what we got. So right now, just as a reminder, um, the audio listeners, this is a good one to watch on YouTube, but I'm trying to describe all the outfits so the audio people. So we've got Tactical Jeff in S tier, we've got Keynote Jeff in B tier, and we've got Fun Jacket Jeff in C tier.
mhm.
Personally, I've got Vacation Jeff kind of right alongside Keynote Jeff in B tier.
Okay, I'm leaning a little more towards C,
Oh,
but the
same
linen
here. So
shirt
as the
works.
guest, you get final say on this. I'm just
I
telling you
get
where
fine.
I'm sitting.
Oh wow, I'm gonna go C tier. Like it's just he could do better. Like he's got to
That's
have a
true.
stylist. He
That's
could do
true.
better.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking good. He's very fit, but you're right. The outfit itself, he could do
Yeah,
better. Yeah,
I'm slightly surprised when he got dressed that morning with his girlfriend or whoever she is that she let him put those on.
yeah.
Those
She was like, "Yeah, that looks good. Octopus swim trunks.
right? Yeah,
I'm
like that's
happy to be
great.
seen with you in those."
Yeah, you make how
Uh,
much a year?
honestly, if you're not Jeff Bezos, then your wife's making you take those off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
Your
I
girl's making you
absolutely.
take those off. If you're Jeff Bezos, you kind of get to do whatever you want.
Right.
It's a good point. So C tier represent. Here's where we've established the line between B tier and C tier is like at C tier, it's kind of like interesting. You made some choices, and I respect that, but you could have done better.
Right.
At B
Right.
tier, Keynote Jeff, it's like I don't know that the outfit could be much better. That's a great Keynote outfit.
Yeah. And
Probably maybe
maybe
it could be, but it's not. It's not like an S tier, but it's solid. You probably couldn't
right.
have done much better on that day.
But Keynote might be A. Maybe we move that to A
It
at some
might be
point.
an A tier outfit. Yeah,
It'd
for
be
sure. For
nice.
sure.
All
I mean, we
black. I
got
mean,
we got a couple more to get through here.
all right. All right.
Um, all right. So you got your first couple clients on Amazon.
Yeah.
Um, tell me, and you're just taking care of the 18-year-old EDM music festival girls needs
Yep.
at
It
this
really
point.
became a passion of mine. You
Yeah,
know.
you really uh, did a lot of market research.
Right.
Went to the festivals, uh, asked a lot of
Well,
questions.
that's what I was
Um,
telling you the other day. It's like we didn't have the offices here for a while, so I was out in the warehouse. That's where my computer was, and I mean we're a family business. So we got my kids running around, employee kids running around all the time,
and you're just
especially during
looking at
COVID.
smut.
Yeah, and I literally I'd be doing stuff, and one of my employees who is a mom, she'd come over and be like, "Hey, like the kids are running around back here. Like you gotta, can you do that later?" And because it's literally I got two screens up, and I've got like an Amazon listing here, and I've got a Dropbox with 10,000 pictures of just half naked women, and I'm going like, "Oh, this is like you can't go through my search history. You can't do
Yeah,
like I look
you're
like a,
like
like a I don't know, like a schmuck, doing this. But
at
hey,
work. You're like, no, it's a client. Everybody, it's a client. It's totally fine.
I'll take. Do you have any other clients? It's like
Yeah.
that's the only one I'm
What
like,
about
oh,
your other clients? I don't know.
right.
I don't know.
I don't know what their names are. No, but it was that client did an awesome thing, and they rebranded themselves
Uh-huh.
from that more like EDM rate. They kept all the designs, but they rebranded themselves more towards just women empowerment. Like just
Oh,
feel good in your body. People don't even need to know you're wearing them. Just
yeah.
feel good, you know. And I think that really was an awesome move for them. It helped out a ton on Amazon. It helped out, I'm sure, on other avenues for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, it doesn't matter what you think really about your product and what you want to do and who you want to sell it to.
Yeah.
The market is going to tell you what to do
Yeah.
and who's going to buy it. And you
All
just
right.
need to
Yeah.
learn that and do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
It's
you're
like,
going to
all right.
eventually
It's like,
fail.
all right, we got to just, whatever we need to do to pivot, we need to do that. Like,
Right. Yep.
you can't make it your baby. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions around kind of Amazon and how different people should think about Amazon. So the first
Sure.
people I want to first I want to address, like, maybe people who are early on in their entrepreneurial journey. They may not have a business yet, or they have tried a few different things. Maybe they've tried doing a little retail arbitrage, or maybe they haven't. But let's just pretend they don't know much about Amazon. Does Amazon actually represent an opportunity for people who are early on in their entrepreneurial journey? They're a hustler and they want to. I mean, because that's kind of what it did for you. You found a
Yeah.
brand, and what do you think is the right opportunity for somebody who's just getting into this space and wants to say, hey, I'm interested in Amazon. Whether I want to build an agency or want to build my own brand or whatever, I want to learn this skill.
Right.
What's the route for them?
It's tough because Amazon has gotten so bombarded with Chinese brands, knockoff brands, this and that. Can you make money in retail arbitrage? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hard work? Yes. Can
Yeah.
you do it buying a few things here or there and selling it on Amazon? Probably not. Like you're going to sell a few things. It's a race to the bottom.
Right.
Like you go out and buy a pallet of Burt's Bees lip balm, and I buy a pallet of Burt's Bees lip balm, and we both put it out there. Well, we're using one listing,
Yeah.
and who's going to win the buy box? It's pretty much the guy who's cheaper.
Right.
It's just a race to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm going to undercut you and you and you, and suddenly it's like there's no profit left in it. So, I'm not a huge fan of retail arbitrage, but it's not to say that it can't work. But
Mm-hmm.
the ones who I know who are successful with it are the ones who go in and they have a warehouse of old Target pallets of old Target returns, and they're just
Yeah.
buying out warehouses
And
of returns.
when a
Those
shop goes going out of business, they're going there with a U-Haul. Like,
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. And those are the ones that are successful, but that's a commitment, and you really got to do it and you got to know what you're doing.
I
And
would
it's
I would call it. It's not dissimilar to used cars. In used cars, they say the money's made on the buy, not the sell, and I think they say the same in flipping houses. The
yeah,
money's made on the buy, and
right.
that's the same with retail arbitrage. So, what do you think is a better entry point? Like, I always say, if somebody wants to get into e-commerce and this is sort of the entry point and this is the skill they're interested in learning, I always say, like, go work for an agency, a marketing agency or something like that, and start developing your skills there,
It,
and just get a job in the space.
right. I think that's really true. Like it is invaluable to work for someone who is doing well
Yeah,
and learn because I mean, really, I took everything I learned from all these agencies, and yeah, I did. I watched YouTube videos back in the day. I taught
yeah,
myself, and then you start working with these agencies, and you start going like, "All right, I like what they're doing. I see what they're doing." And then suddenly it's like, I can do this myself. And guess what? Here's like what I always say is, if you had an Amazon agency and I had an Amazon agency, odds are we're probably pretty much the same. I
yeah,
feel like the majority of all the agencies out there, they're pretty much the same. They all know how to do the same thing. They all do it roughly the same way. But in the end, too, it's like, do you like working with us?
yeah,
You know, like, am I communicating with you? Do you like our style of how we do things, how we do reporting, how we talk? And if you like us, great. If not, go with someone else. That's fine.
yeah.
We all are good at what we do,
Right.
and it's you do though learn as you go, and so I kind of going back, I got off track there, but learning in the space is probably a great way to start. But watch videos. Don't trust every flippin' guru out there who
Right.
says, take my course and you can start an Amazon agency.
Yeah.
uh, don't believe all those. Like they're not all
I,
legit. You got to make sure you find something that's legitimate.
I usually tell people if they want to get into e-commerce, I'm like, you need to find a way to, even if you don't get paid very much, get paid to pay down your own ignorance tax, right? So don't go start drop shipping from Alibaba or AliExpress, or,
Yeah.
try and do your own dropshipping. Like, that is a business that some people have had success with, but ultimately requires you to flip cash. And that's the same thing with Amazon retail arbitrage. Like, I get the attractiveness because you can go out and do it today. You can take action
Right.
today and you can do something about it. And I understand the attractiveness of that. That said, the failure rate on that is going to be high, and you're just going to be flipping cash and you're not going to be making money doing it.
Right.
That same level of effort maybe should be put into, you know, figuring out how to, like, learning a little bit in e-commerce. It might be learning a little bit about how to edit videos and reaching out to agencies and seeing if they need an editor, right?
Right.
Or learning about Facebook ads and reaching out to them and seeing if they need a junior media buyer or something like that, and just kind of getting involved in the space, learning some skills, and then reaching out to the people who will pay you a little bit of money to continue to, like, pay down the ignorance tax of what you
Yeah.
don't know, right?
Right. And
And I think the same is probably true of Amazon. It's like, learn some skill, like, watch some YouTube videos, learn some skills, maybe try some stuff with things around your house,
mhm.
and use that to hopefully reach out to some agencies and say, hey, I've done this, I really want to learn this, do you have anything entry level I can help with?
Yeah, I think I do think that's a great way to do it. And also, like, podcasts. There's some really good podcasts out there that can get into the details
Yeah.
of starting it. And if someone has gotten to the point of doing a podcast, usually, maybe take a look at how many,
Yeah.
listeners they have and stuff, but usually they know what they're talking about at some point. They've gotten to the point where, hey, I'm going to do a podcast now, and I've done it. And I feel like, though, that's a great way to learn too. But what we personally like to work with is people and businesses that own their own product and brand.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the easiest way to make money on Amazon, is if you have a product, and you're not doing retail arbitrage, because then you own the listing. You can
Yeah.
do whatever you need to with the listing. And that's what, like, we pretty much don't work with retail arbitrage brands, because
Right.
it's a headache. It really.
Their job is already to do what you do.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Any people who you recommend in terms of, like, people who teach Amazon, just so people aren't following false gurus?
That's, I don't, off the top of my head. I remember I listened to a bunch of podcasts back in the day. I don't remember.
I think a lot of it for me was, like, just varying the information. Let me take
Yeah.
in info from everybody. What am
Right.
I hearing over and over? That's probably the most accurate stuff, or the
Right.
most conventional wisdom that they're actually doing. What am I hearing that's different? Then it's kind of like, oh, maybe that is right, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I certainly say a lot of stuff that's different that not a lot of other people are saying now. So not that some of that is wrong, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of like varying the information, I think, is important
Right.
in early stages.
I maybe afterwards I can double check and try and remember a few of those, and
Yeah.
maybe you can
Yeah.
link it.
If you do send them to me, I will put them in the show notes or the YouTube description,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
wherever
because I can't
we're
think of anything
watching.
off the top of my head. But yeah, there's so many fake gurus left and right. I
Yeah.
work with multiple 8-figure businesses, and it's like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But, like, did you make money? Are you
Yeah.
real? Like, like, what
You
actually
work with,
happened?
what does that mean that you work with them? Like, do
Right.
you bought one of their products and listed it?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Next up, we got what I call Miami Jeff.
Ooh.
This is just kind of like a classic sort of Miami vibe, right? I'm gonna call it Miami Jeff. What is that? This is a patterned shirt, a patterned button-down shirt again. Jeff Bezos is not a big fan of buttoning any of the buttons above his, like, sternum on his shirt.
No, and that's like, isn't that a normal symbol? Like, it's a repeating pattern on a shirt, but I feel like that's from somewhere. It's like a logo, or like
Yeah. It's a repeating pattern, but it's not like there's probably a name for the pattern. I don't know what it is,
yeah.
but
And then you got,
it's got real Miami vibes. If this
yeah,
photo isn't taken in Miami, I don't
I,
know. I don't know what's going on in the world.
I would be,
The
yeah.
other call out I have here is he's got like the pointed kind of triangular aviator sunglasses.
Those are
And
hearts. Those are
are they
hearts.
hearts? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the heart-shaped aviators, and white denim pants.
With a
So
white
white
belt.
denim pants is a move. You woke up in the morning and chose a look,
Yeah. Yeah. I wore those when I was 17,
Yeah.
because I thought I was cool. And I
These are
realized
tight
now,
ones.
looking back, white pants on me was not a good look. But I felt powerful
Yeah.
in them. I felt like all the girls were looking at me, and they probably were, but not for the right reason.
It's, that's it, as long as you feel confident, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. So how are we feeling about Miami Jeff? Uh,
This might be my least favorite outfit of his. I think that
really,
he really went for it, but I think like you look like you're a 20-year-old. Like your outfit reminds me of a, I don't know, like a 20-year-old uh, hot beach dude going to a party late at night, but you still are 55 or 60 years old. Like you
that's
can't
funny. I could
not.
not disagree with you more on this. Miami Jeff is my Jeff.
Oh
Uh,
man, dude,
yeah,
that's your.
Miami Jeff is my goat. I don't know. He's taking his talents to South Beach, uh, and I'm here for it. But I mean, it's your call. You got this in D tier.
Here's the thing. I I can see your point of view with it too.
Yeah,
Like it's either you love it or you hate it.
it's yeah. You
I
nobody's going down the middle on this one.
No, but do we put it in the middle just because of that? Like, hey, it works for some, it doesn't for others.
I think we
And
got to put it on one end or the other. And if you don't like it, then I think we got to put it. You can't put this in the middle. You know,
right,
it's not a
yeah, because
middle outfit.
it's
It's
out
either
there.
S tier or D tier.
Oh man, I just wish the shirt was sheer. If it was just sheer,
Yeah, then it would be like, okay, now you really went for it, and I respect it.
right, the bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. Um, so brands that are currently selling, companies that already have like an e-commerce brand, they sell physical products, currently mainly selling on their website, thinking about Amazon as a distribution channel. How do they have to think about that differently than how they think about selling on their website?
The website, you have full control, and yes, you want full control over Amazon, but in the end, Amazon's client base is going to tell you, what's going to sell and what's not. And we see it with almost every one of our clients. We'll talk to them. If they're just starting out on Amazon and they've never been there before, and they're like, oh, this is the product that sells the best, and it's like, all right, we'll start with that. We'll get that listed first and get that moving. And a lot of times, a year later, that's not the product that sells on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They might not sell at all on Amazon. And some random other product of theirs is what sells.
Yeah.
So you just have to be willing to, like we talked about earlier, take the turns, pivot, and just go with the flow,
Yeah.
because it's not the same. Keywords aren't the same. The keywords you use in Google, the keywords you use on Facebook for ads and everything, it's not the same. It's
Yeah.
helpful. It's good data to have. It gives us a starting point, but it is a fresh start. It's its own beast, and you got to work with it.
I also think it's got to be a part of the overall strategy, because one of the struggles is that unless you sell stuff that's exclusive to you, uh, if let's put it this way. Okay, if you sell minimal wallets, uh,
Mhm.
like here, I've got this wallet, plenty of these types of things on Amazon. This one's from a company called Ondar. It's a minimal leather wallet, and it's got this little like
Oh,
switchblade
yeah,
sort of feature. It's cool. It's fun. I like it. I've
right.
worked with them. Love them. Great brand. I believe that's on Amazon. There's other knockoff versions of that same thing on Amazon.
Mhm.
So the other thing I think that is interesting is that, like, how are you going to strategize this whole thing? Like, do you want to price your product down to compete on Amazon, or do you want to say, no, this is the name brand one, and just leave it at the same price as it is on the website?
I think both strategies can work, but we love to like stand by your product.
Yeah.
Don't, because if, especially with Amazon, if you're going to lower the price there, you got to lower it on your website, because now people don't want to buy on your website because
Yeah.
it's more expensive there. It's kind of a race to the bottom. It's like, figure out what your margin is, figure out what you really want to price it at. And we help with that too. We go through everything, because if you want to sell your product on Amazon, like, we as an agency need to know what we're working with. We need to know your cost of goods. We need to know your shipping. We need to know everything
What's it cost to pick
so
and
that
pack and
we
everything?
can figure out, yeah, like, how do we advertise this? What's the max amount of ad spend we can have? What's cost per sale? What's the ROAS we need to hit? And so we target everything around that. In some cases, it's like, we need to raise your price. Like, it is, and we've turned brands down who are like, no, it got to sell it for $19.99, and we're like, okay, then there's no way that
Yeah.
you're going to be successful. Your product is going to sell, but you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, so you really need to do all the math behind it and
If
figure it out.
I
But
think
stick with
that, yeah, if you're doing the work to sell on your website, you're doing the work to build your brand, then don't diminish it by just trying to compete on Amazon with all the knockoffs. Like, be the
right.
brand.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
If you're Stanley or if you're Carhartt, you're not going to Amazon and selling your stuff for the knockoff prices. You're saying, no, this is actually Carhartt,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. We're just using this platform to sell as well.
Right.
And I think it's super important to do that and stick with your pricing. Um, and just you can just brand yourself better with better A+ content, better storefronts, better images. That's how you can maintain those price points.
Hmm.
It's like, be the authority, be the brand that all the others knockoffs are looking at and they're trying to copy. you know
Yeah. Overall, how should brands think of it in terms of like, should they think of it as like, this is going to be a very significant channel, we need to go hard, or we're going to spend a lot on ads? Like, how should brands go into it with low expectations and say, oh, it's just going to be whatever sales come from here? Or should brands be like, no, what do we, we're all in on this, what do we need to do to make it successful?
I think Amazon is an all-in platform.
Uh,
I feel like just in e-commerce in general, you can't be like, oh, I think I want to sell on Wayfair. And it's like either you do it or you don't, right?
mhm.
Like you got to put your time into it. And I'm a huge fan of like do one thing at a time. Like, if you have the staff, go ahead and try and build everything at once. But it's like go all in, know your numbers, uh, know what you can afford to do and not afford to do.
Yeah.
But you need to commit, and there's going to be a lot of ad spend in the beginning to figure things out and get things rolling, and all you need is one
Yep.
campaign to hit, and then suddenly things start to flow better. And
So,
we always say it's like this flywheel effect.
yep.
It's like you get it moving, and then you get your first sale, and then you get your first review, and then you rank a little higher, and then you get more sales and more
Yeah.
reviews, and then you rank higher. And
So
um,
roll out every SKU, run ads for every SKU, see what works, keep iterating. Like, I mean, it's a
yeah,
lot of
and
work. Like, put in all the work to do that,
right, yeah, and there's different
or
strategies.
hire someone like you to put in the
Right.
work to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like there's different
Put the
strategies
resource.
for everything. We don't always say like every SKU, put it out there right now. Sometimes it's better like, hey, let's get 10 out there.
Yeah.
But it all depends on the brand, what they're doing, how they do it. Are there variations or this? Like,
Hmm.
to maybe scale it a little slower, but still like you got to commit and be
Yeah.
ready to go. And it's a huge channel. I mean, I could probably 9 out of 10 clients of ours, that's their number one sales channel. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's sad. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish it was their website, but
Yeah.
it's a powerhouse out there.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, we have Classic Jeff.
Oh boy.
Classic Jeff with the blue button down and hair, and showing off his books that he's selling on his new online bookstore. I mean, I like this. Is just like it feels nostalgic to me.
Right. I feel like this is almost a Super Jeff outfit just because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
It's
Also, he was for sure. There was no stylist involved at this point.
no, absolutely. He went in his closet and he's like, what is 3 sizes too large? Let me put that on. And
Right. Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
it's
How about a
iconic.
shirt that fits you, dude? No,
Right. But
no, I can't be bothered with that.
he put this outfit on. He got both his arms up there on those stacks of books, and he felt like a king.
Yeah,
Like this guy is rolling high right now. He is proud.
I
So
agree.
I think, I'd love to see him bring that outfit back.
Yeah, I'd like to see. You know how Mark Zuckerberg he wears the same thing every day. I don't think he does that anymore. I'd love to see this just be like the signature Bezos outfit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this one? So right now we have Tactical Jeff at S tier. We have Nothing at A tier. We have Keynote Jeff at B tier. And then we have
All right.
Fun Jacket and Vacation Jeff at C tier and Miami Jeff at D tier. Would you call this one? So here's where I'm going with it. Let me just throw this
Yeah.
out there, see how you feel. This is Classic Jeff is a B tier outfit. Keynote Jeff is an A tier outfit.
I can agree with that. It's iconic, right? Like
Yeah.
that is the iconic look.
And that was, remember the line of like, you could have done better. So at C tier, we're like, okay, you did a thing, but you could have done better. I don't think he could have done any better on this day. He woke up and that was the best he had. And,
Right.
and I respect it.
Yeah.
Jake, thanks for coming on the show. Where can people find you?
What's that?
Where can people find you?
Oh, well, you can find us at barrelage.co, C-O, no M. Probably should have done one with a com, make it a lot easier for people, but it's barrelage.co. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Jake Stanislawski or Barrel Aged. And then you got Northland Frames and Gifts too. If you're looking for any custom picture frames, that's the family biz. But we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. Getting our presence felt a little more on Facebook, but
Nice.
yeah,
There we go.
we're always around to help. So
And wherever you're listening or watching, I'll try and link all of that up. Jake's LinkedIn, as well as the family, the frames and gifts business, in the description. Jake, thanks for being on. Listeners, watchers, thanks for watching. If you're still here, please give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a review or a comment, all the things that the people ask you to do wherever you're currently listening. And we'll see you next time.